Alright folks, so I wanted to do a quick video showing off a bushcraft or survival fire kit that I recently put together. This is comprised of parts from other kits that I had, but I wanted to put together a little bit of a larger kit that had more capability. Before we start the video, why don't you go do yourself a favor, grab a nice cold one, come on back, and we'll get started. Alright, so hopefully everybody made it back. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit about this tin or this case. It's made by a company called Adventure Series, and it's their survival kit box. It is 4.5 inches wide, 6.5 inches long, and 2 inches tall. In its current configuration, this weighs 1.28 pounds or 20.5 ounces. If I'm missing anything, or you have any ideas, questions, or comments, please post them below. I'd love to hear your opinions on this kit. And as I mentioned, I wanted to build a little bit of a larger kit, something that's a little bit more capable. This will probably remain in my car, and if I go camping or hiking, I may grab it. I think at 1.28 pounds, it's pretty carryable, but it is a little bit bulky. I also think this is a good addition to like a bug out bag or survival bag because it gives you a lot of capability. Alright, taking a look at this kit, the first thing I'll show you is this fire steel. And this is just a cheap Chinese fire steel. I think it was less than $5 and I bought it a while ago. I've used it a few times, but fire steel is not my primary ignition source for when making fires. It's more of a backup option. I do want to upgrade this and get a better fire steel. So if you have a recommendation, please list it below. And then here's just a generic striker that it comes with. The next thing, I use these all the time and I find them really helpful. These are wet fire tabs. What I do is I take them out of this package and sometimes I break them in half or smash them a little bit to get some more surface area, and I have used the ferro rod to strike these, but I've also used things like matches or a lighter, and they work great. It's a great little ignition source that you can place your tinder on and some small sticks and get a fire relatively quickly. One of the other things I have here is a hank of jute twine. This is about 3.5, 4 feet. You fray it out. You can put petroleum jelly or Vaseline on here, hit it with a ferro rod lighter. It's a great little ignition source. I don't really consider it tinder, although I guess it technically is. I really use this more to hold a flame a little bit longer while I get smaller twigs or branches that I broke up ignited. Maybe that's the definition of tinder, I don't know. Here's a knife that I keep in here, or I'm planning to keep in here. I may switch this out for a different knife that has a saw, or maybe I'll put a little pocket saw in here. I'm not 100% sure. But this is the SE Kangaroo, and putting it in here is a little bit of a sacrifice for me because I love this knife. I use it all the time. It's a great neck knife. It's got a lot of miles on it, but what's really handy about it is it's carbon steel, so you could strike it with a flint, even though I don't have a carbon steel and a flint ignition source in this kit. I could use it that way. The other thing is it's great for making feather sticks. It's really sharp. It's great for making feather sticks or batoning small sticks into smaller kindling. Just a small Bic lighter. Everybody knows what these are. We've all seen them before. Bic lighters are great. I think they're bulletproof. It's my preferred way of starting a fire. It's what I've used my entire life, and I've never had a problem with them. One of the other things, and I have a video on this, as well as some other things that are in the kit, so I'll post links to those videos below. This is a product called Live Fire, and I've used this a few times, and what you have a couple of them. What you do is you actually just hit this with a ferro rod, and it creates a flame, and it burns really well. And so what I'll do is I'll make a little teepee of smaller sticks or twigs, hit this with the ferro, and then slide it in under the teepee until those sticks become ignited. Pull this out, close it up, and I'm good to go. It's a great product. A little bit pricey, but I like that. I'm glad I have it. And I have a few more in various kits. One of the other things I have a bunch of these all in different bags and in cars. It has a small ferro rod here. I've never used it. It seems too small and it's got a lot of glue and resin on it. But what I do for these is a waterproof container. And by the way, I forgot to mention, this case, the Adventure Series kit box, is what they call leak resistant. The top of it comes with a rubber seal right here. What's nice about this case, and I think I forgot to mention it, is I could also prepare food or boil water in here, although I doubt I would do that. Anyhow, getting back to the waterproof match case, in the event water gets in here, these matches will still stay dry. I have a bunch of the UCO waterproof matches in here, along with an additional striker. I think there's 9. It might be a little bit more in there. I can't remember, and I'm not going to count right now. But these are great little match containers. Like I mentioned, waterproof, fit in your pocket or fit inside elastic strap in any of your bags. This is a another lighter. It's not a big, it's a generic lighter, but you know, wanted to have some redundancy from a lighter standpoint. As I mentioned, that's my primary ignition source. These things work great, and it's what I typically use to start fire. They're messy as hell to make. There's 6 large cotton balls in here that I rolled around in petroleum jelly, and then I kind of just knead them in my hand until they get into a smaller ball, and I pack them in here. What's nice about the inside of this bag is there's also some excess petroleum jelly, and as I mentioned, you can run your jute twine through that and get some ignition source on there as well. But these burn for about 5 or 6 minutes. I believe, I don't remember exactly, that I did a video showing one of these striking a fire or starting a fire, and I'll link that below. But I always tell people when they ask me, hey, what kind of fire, what kind of ignition source? These are cheap, they're easy, and they're really reliable. This is just a steel tube that I have in here, and what you can use this for is that when you get a fire going, for example, you have a bird nest or a bunch of tinder in your hand, or you can get down close to a fire, you just blow through here, and it gives you a concentrated way to blow some air and some oxygen on your fire and get it to ignite a little bit better. These are rely on alcohol pads, and I keep these in various kits. First aid, obviously, but also I think everybody knows, hit these with a ferro match lighter, and you have a pretty good little ignition source to get your tinder or your kindling going. Then what I have here is just a bunch of fat wood that's bundled together with some jute twine just to keep it organized. But what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 sticks here. I don't typically burn these whole sticks. What I'll do is I'll use the knife to cut some feathers off of these, or sometimes I'll split them down into smaller pieces. So once I get something like an alcohol pad or a cotton ball going, I'll lay fragments of these pieces of fat wood on there to keep the fire going a little bit better, so I can get twigs and such burning. Great stuff, and I'm sure everybody's seen plenty of fire videos and knows that this stuff works really well. The last thing is that this is just a full box of the Stormproof UCO matches, and I do have a video on these matches. I'll link that as well. And this is just to fill this case or use these out of here as necessary. And then the last item in the kit is just a piece of aluminum foil. This is Reynolds wrap. You can send me a check later, Mr. Reynolds. It's heavy duty, and it's 18 by 18, somewhere right around there, give or take. And you use something like this to put down on the ground if the ground's really wet. It helps you build a moisture barrier to keep the moisture away from your tinder or any fire that you're getting ready to start. I wouldn't call it an absolute must-have or something that's completely necessary, but it's nice. And also, in the event that you may need to heat something up or cook, you could potentially finagle something with that as well. Anyhow, some other things that are missing that might come to the top of somebody's mind is I don't have a Fresnel lens in here. I don't have one. Maybe I'll pick one up, put one in there. I don't have a way to make char cloth or even a flint and steel to strike char cloth, even though I could use the SC knife. Just a couple of things. As I mentioned, if there's any ideas, go ahead and post them below. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up or comment below, share, and subscribe to my channel for more videos if you're not. Alright, that's it everybody. Thanks for watching.